All right, are you ready for your first storyteller tonight? All right, with great applause, let's welcome him to the stage.
This is only the second time I've been here, and the last time I was here was a year ago, and I was called first. First is it.
That's it.
It's the wee hours of the morning, and I was surrounded by the remnant smell of cigarette smoke, and the nicotine walls. They seemed to whisper to me and tell me stories and memories. And I lowered my hand to that doorknob, and I was shaken, and then I held it there. A few hours earlier, I just got there and met up with Lisa, my wife, and we were going to take care of someone that meant the world to us. His name was Lamuel Bancroft. I called him Don. He was my father-in-law. Everybody else called him Dad, but everybody in Bradley County, they called him Papaw. Now, before you raise your hand or you think you're the best Papaw, since I'm on stage, I can probably say you might be wrong. Our Papaw, he always carried a pocket full of change, a pocket knife, and a roll of cinnamon or wintergreen certs. If you needed help from a vending machine or had to have some kind of wild rope cut, or you had an attack of halitosis, he had you covered. Don was famous. Wherever he went, he would be, if he stood up, he would be followed. After all, he was the Pied Piper of the concession stands. One of our kids, our grandkids, they'd get up and they'd say, "Papa, let's go." And up he'd go, never a complaint, off to the concession stand. He'd come back and they'd all have candy and popcorn and maybe some random kid that had just joined our troop now. Papaw. That night, I saw him sitting in his recliner wearing boxer shorts and a t-shirt. Now, if you knew him, this would not been the attire that he would have been wearing. He was unhealthy, and he wasn't in his right mind. He would have never agreed to be dressed like that. So I looked at him and I said, "Don, let's put you into something a little more stylish tonight." So we went and we found his blue and white flannel pants. We got his legs in, we got his hands in. And when that second hand made it through, he grabbed my hand and he looked at me. He said, "David, thank you. And I love you." I swapped my hand on top of his and I said, "Don, you're welcome. I love you too." And then he mumbled something like, "Now about that fashion show." I met him 35 years earlier, and when I first met him, I quickly realized that family to him came first. For every event that we ever had, any of our kids had events, he was always present and paying attention, not like people are today. He was there. My hand was shaking at that door, and I was going to open it. Taking all the intestinal fortitude I could come up with, I was going in. Not knowing what I was going to find. So I started walking across that dimly lit room, and the only light was from an AM/FM red-faced alarm clock, which I think is standard equipment for every grandparent. And the grief was so heavy, and the tears were building up, and I got closer and closer. And then I saw his face. He looked peaceful. very peaceful, and he had a little turn up on his lips and a smile. And a calmness rushed over me, and memories start flashing of all the good times that we did. It's like a Rolodex quickly turning of all the things he did for my family and everything he left behind for us. So I reached down and I closed his eyes. I held his hand and I kissed him and said, Don, I love you. But I wasn't sad. That's the thing, I wasn't sad anymore. His health had deteriorated so much. And I knew that he wasn't there anymore. Just that old broken down, beat up shell. Knowing Don with family first, he's here supporting me. Thank you, Don. Thank you.
David, everyone. First,